I hear go get the money, so I go get it. Hate means I do something right, so I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him, yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head, yeah, I'ma let him. All I hear go get the money, so I go get it. Hate means I do something right, so I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him, yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head, yeah, I'ma let him. Early bird go get the worm in the dirt. I could show you what I'm worth, my hands in the dirt. From where they look when you not, a hand in your purse. Hell if you think I'm last, last should be first. Go ahead and go feast your eyes. Chefing up, cooking them pies, leaving no slice. Believe on a guy who in demand and who got supplies. You on the land, me I'm fly. Look at the miles.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Ron.
And we are back today for another recap of Godfather of Harlem. This is season 4, episode 9, titled Black and White. But before we get started, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and click that notification bell. All of those things help support our channel, helps keep our numbers growing, and we appreciate everyone who has already tapped in with us and done so. So keep it up. Tell your friends, spread the word far and wide that the Spot Real Talk is where it's at.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and jump into this conversation because this episode, this was a good one. We know last episode that Bumpy was left in a tight spot. He got swindled out of his club by Colombo, yes. And he was basically left in a situation where his businesses and his properties were collateral for the loan for the St. Clair. And now all of that stuff, could be taken away from him. So this week we see him early on trying to, see what his options are. He's talking to the bankers, trying to figure out, could they, front him some money to cover the interest and stuff for a while. And they were looking at the one dude definitely was tripping, talking about he was straight up against it.
Yeah, he never wanted to do business with him in the first place. He said, I told Archie he should have never done business with
Yeah. That mouth of his, he better slow down because he's gonna wind up Archie.
Well, Bumpy set him straight.
He sure did.
He was basically letting him know, you seen how Archie got up out of here. He was like, you do business with the gangster. I can show you some gangster, So he had to get gully with him real quick. But I was like, I appreciate Bumpy's maneuvering because his back is truly against the wall. I don't think we've really seen him in such a position where he doesn't have many options. Because he always can maneuver, he can work with other people, and that seems to be what gets him out of his situations. He knows how to work with other people and to team up. And so, lo and behold, who does he bring back in from out of town, from good old Arizona?
Joe
Bonanno.
Joe Bonanno. And, Bonanno, he got exiled basically for trying to take out all of the 5 family members. So they straight up sent him to the desert, like he said. But now, Bumpy is seeing it could be beneficial for them both because we know Bonanno wants to be back into the fold. And Bumpy also needs one of the 5 family members to help him take Colombo out. Which it's all Bonanno's idea. Colombo gotta go. And we've been saying that forever. Colombo been on my hands list since the beginning of the show.
I've been telling you, I was like, Colombo gotta go.
Yeah.
And it's in a funny way, I like Colombo. He too. He really makes me laugh, but the moves he's been putting on, and frankly, I was a little surprised that when Colombo took Bumpy's money and the club, that he didn't retaliate immediately. And I think if he were younger, he might have. But
he was also kind of enclosed by all of Bonanno's men.
He was outnumbered.
Oh, no, I don't mean at the dinner. I meant, but instead of looking for Bonanno to aid him, I thought maybe he would probably try to do something, but then I guess it was
Because he's a made man. Remember, he said that.
That's the big factor.
That's the big thing. You
Right.
can't just do that with a made man. That's why he was trying to maneuver first. And that's why when Bonanno first floated the idea of taking Colombo out, Bumpy was like, "What? We just gonna whack a boss?"
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
you know, it's funny because Bumpy is also among the five families. He's still a part of that. And you would think he might have gone to them first to see if Colombo was lying, because, you know, Colombo had said something about the five families were behind him. And
Well,
I thought he would have found, you know, try to find that out first.
it seems like they were, though, because when they sat down,
Mhm.
they were like, no, we all get a cut out of Harlem. And
Yeah.
Bumpy was like, no.
Well,
Since-
they all have a small part in Harlem. But as Bumpy said to them, if I'm out, then you don't have eyes on the ground
exactly.
like you've been having. So
And
They
they make
still
it,
wasn't listening. Because when Pino spoke up,
well, you know,
it was like,
now that's one that's got to go.
yes.
If anybody got to go, Pino. And
No, gotta
you know
go.
what?
Pino does have to go.
I think he gonna get it too.
He's gonna get it. Because did you see that look Stella had again?
Yes.
That was vicious.
You
Yeah,
can tell.
because he's trying to take her spot.
He sure is.
He's trying to take her spot.
Yeah.
He's literally making decisions on her behalf, and then you can see how he's like keying and getting all tight with all of her soldiers and stuff. And so she was eyeballing him like, yeah, I see what you're trying to do. And Bumpy pretty much told her the same thing, like, he's coming for your spot.
Yeah.
So I thought that having the five families, first of all, thinking that they had Harlem on lock, and then coming to find out otherwise was a major key to helping sway them. But of course, Pino is not down, and I think they said maybe like one or the other bosses might not have been, especially if you're talking about killing another boss.
Well, they think you need two family members.
Yeah, two families to agree. Yeah,
right.
And so Stella has some intentions. So, and she's determined to be one of those family members. So it plays out.
We also seen Colombo revisit Stella, and he restated his offer of marriage to her. You know, not for love. You know, if love is involved, cool. But this is a power move, basically. If two families join together, you want power and respect amongst the families. Then you can do that as my wife. And then he's saying, I'm about to take over Harlem. And so that would really put us in a position of power amongst all the families. Like, we could call all the shots.
Yeah, he was playing that Tina Turner song. What's love got to do with it?
Yeah, that don't seem to be a factor here.
Even though I think he is sweet on her, though.
He is.
He is.
He don't feel the same. I mean, I think she likes him, but like she told him, she said, I don't love you.
Right. Yeah. So I think that in the end, Stella will probably use that as leverage for her to go ahead and get Colombo in a very compromising situation. Because I think she's gonna let him think that, oh yeah, like, I'm gonna go along with this power play, like I'm your wife and whatnot, and that's gonna be her end to snuggle up close to him and get him right where she wants him, where he gets whacked. Hopefully, it don't come to that, because I don't know if they want that on their hands.
Well, I think once Pino is gone, you know, she may have open ground to do whatever she wants to do.
Right, and Pino is a danger too, because I'm like you said, he getting in good with her goons, and then he's sitting at the table like he's Chin, like he's the boss. And if anything, you gotta, somebody like that, you gotta watch out for him, because he may have plans of taking her out.
Yep.
Especially with Chin not being in the picture. Chin is in Florida somewhere.
Yep. Yeah, so that's the difficult situation. And she could have just called her father, but the fact that she said, I think she was saying he doesn't want to really be bothered at this point in time. So she really does have to take matters into her own hands.
Well, and Pino lied as well, because he said that Chin told him to watch the store, as to put Stella in second place, and we know that not to be true. So it's interesting how this is playing out. I can't wait for episode 10.
Yeah, me too. But I thought it was interesting about Colombo. Like, Bumpy that was a ballsy move for him to go right back to Colombo and say, look, I'm trying to get my club back. I'm going to give you a chance to make this right. But Colombo fired back, and he was basically saying that the only way that we will have a partnership is if you selling drugs for me again. Now, I thought that was crazy.
Well, to me, you know what he's saying. He wants you, I only see you at this level. Exactly. And you need to stay in your place. And that's what I took that to mean.
He said you were born to sell drugs.
Right. When he said that, I was like, I said racist. Yeah. Like you ain't no businessman, you ain't this. This is who you are. And so when he said that tripped me out. And plus, we know why he took the club and everything, because he blew up a Bumpy and was like, you sent me to jail for a year. He was like, did you really think that I wasn't going to come back?
He was real salty.
Yeah, well, like anybody would have, honestly,
But
send me to the bank. I'm going to be beefing.
It's funny though, because he said that, he said he admitted it himself. Bumpy, you're a smart guy, and I like your moves. That you're the only one that saw what Harlem was for the 5 families. So it's strictly racist that you want him beneath you because of the fact that that he's smart enough to have done what he did and made the 5 families better off than they were. Yeah, so this is why Colombo has to go now. With a knife or gun, he gotta go.
Yeah, yeah. So the fact that Bumpy brought in Stella, because Stella can now vouch for this whole ordeal because he clearly don't trust Bonanno on his own, and he needs, like you said, more than 2 bosses. So that plan is going to come to fruition. Now, something else happened this episode with Bumpy's crew. So we see Pettigrew. He's been mumbling under his breath, saying all kind of sly stuff for like the past 2 or 3 episodes. And this week he almost came to blows with Frank, and it's clear that he is upset about Frank's involvement. He was real pissed off that they took Frank's side and shushing him and shutting him down. So he's basically saying, like, what's the plan? We're not in the doogie business no more. We don't have the club. It's looking like we about to be out here high and dry, and you're not trying to kill this man or take action. So that leaves us destitute, basically. And Chance, knowing Bumpy, he's like, just be patient. Like, wait, close your mouth, shut up. And Pettigrew was not trying to hear that. He's very impatient, and I think he don't see Bumpy for the mastermind that he is.
And he should have all this time that he's been around Bumpy. Bumpy has shown him time and time again. So
I think what pissed him off is, when he asked Bumpy directly, what are we going to do? And Bumpy said, I don't know. That's unlike Bumpy. And I think remember when Pettigrew asked Chance, do you think that heart situation has left him in a kind of, just paraphrasing somewhat, in a foggy sense, not knowing what to do? And of course, Chance denied that, but it does kind of show that Bumpy is moving a lot slower than they do.
I mean, I think it's a valid concern after somebody has a major health scare.
Yeah.
But it's also like, you got to
be disloyal, though.
Yeah.
To be disloyal. Yeah. Because Pettigrew was just thinking about his money. Yeah. The money. Because he was like, what are we going to do? This, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. Even Frank, who's new to the crew, was not sweating. Like, and yeah, Bumpy said, I don't know, but he could mean like, I don't know right now. Let me think. Like, I'm thinking. Just because I don't know right in this moment doesn't mean I'm not going to figure it out.
Exactly.
And he didn't have the patience to, I guess he just couldn't see the vision. He's like, look, we about to be broke. And it was heartbreaking to see what he did. I was just like,
well, I do love the build up to that moment, because the way he walked in the club, they did make it seem like he was going to go in his jacket and get a weapon or something.
Yeah.
And then the way he rolled up on him and tapped him, and I was like, oh, this is about, like, maybe he's going to do this grand gesture, for Bumpy on his behalf. But when I see him lean down and whispered, we need to talk about a partnership, I was like, excuse me?
Maybe he has something up his sleeve.
He better.
He got greed. He got greed up his sleeve. Yeah, and the thing is, first of all, Pettigrew, you just saw, you was at the same meeting when you saw Colombo shoot Straub in the head and take Bumpy's club, all this stuff. What makes you think that he would trust you and would not double cross you?
Exactly. And that's the crazy thing. So that's why I'm with you, Ron. I hope that he has an ulterior plan or something, because maybe he just wants to warm up close to Colombo so that he can do what he needs to do, or maybe he can give Bumpy some intel. But if the roles get reversed and if he is feeding information to Colombo about what Bumpy plans to do,
he gotta go too.
Himself good and gone.
He gotta go too. If he's doing that, if he is being a traitor, he has to go too.
And he will. He will. Mm-hmm. I mean, not that I know beforehand, but if that's the case, he's got to go.
Yeah, if that's what he's doing, he got to go too. Because I'm just like, Bumpy took him back after he remember he blew Bump's money. He was on the drugs. Bumpy gave him chances, so I understood why he felt the way he did about Frank. Because Frank is a newbie and he double crossed Bumpy, this, that, and the other, and he felt like, they were welcoming Frank with open arms and stuff. But again, and I said this last time, Bumpy also gave him another chance. So for him to betray Bumpy like that,
crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, Pettigrew definitely shocked me this episode. If he goes down that path, he better start writing his death wish right now, because he's
on the hands list. He's on the hands list.
Oh, for sure. Now somebody else who probably gonna get the hands for me for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Miss Elise, because Elise been tripping for the past couple of weeks, but this week she got some intel from Omar, who was able to shake this guy down on the yard, because he was running his mouth about Malcolm's shooter and how he knew who it was and all this stuff. And Omar was able to get a name that he passed on to Elise. And she goes down the path of finding this guy and investigating, what happened with, or trying to investigate what happened with Malcolm and who was really behind it. Now, the Panthers are like, we ain't no vigilante crew. Like, we not just out here going on these little side missions that you keep throwing at us. And then, of course, you have her boo in the Panther. What's his name? Sadiq, yeah. Now, I was like, first of all, Elise, how you going to your new man to help you to try to exonerate your old man?
Wait, what you call it? At least keep a man Johnson?
Yes.
Well, okay. In this episode, I'm with Elise. Now, I understand that Black Panthers, no, they weren't a vigilante group. But you saw they had enough weapons to secure themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think, even though the Black Panther Party, they didn't like the soft overtones of Martin Luther King. I mean, I'm sorry, of not the soft overtones of King, but Malcolm X. They didn't like the methodology in which he was moving. They thought that, having guns on the street, protecting themselves out in the open was the way to go. But if someone killed your brother, and Malcolm always said, you kill one of us, 10 of yours are going to go. And I know they wanted to, you would think they would want to support.
And they did. They ultimately did support her.
But they were, they were hesitant or reluctant to do so. And, my girl stepped forward. She's like, well, what are we doing? If we're not for justice, then what are we for? And justice has many wares. It looks differently to everyone else, to everybody. But in this case, particularly, go out and defend
Malcolm
X. Yeah,
because
do that.
I feel like that she was not only trying to exonerate Omar, but we all know that she had affection
for Malcolm. Yeah,
too. So she definitely wanted to find his true killer, because she thought all along that it was a conspiracy.
Yeah, but that's not the reason I'm giving her the hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because first of all, like I said, she bringing in a new man to go and exonerate her old man. I was like, first of all, you real messy, Elise. Then on top of that, they find this guy Kareem Hassan, and they kind of beat him up and tell him to set up a meeting with whoever his handler was.
Dumb move.
Dumb move. I'm like, I don't know how they didn't really see this coming, because if somebody is going to set you up to assassinate somebody like Malcolm X, and you go calling them out the blue,
yeah,
exactly,
you had to know something was going to go down. So I'm like, well, this is what the second, third person that at least got murdered.
I guess in his eyes, she was going to do it. Would she have cut his throat? I think so.
Yeah. She's Bumpy's daughter. I think she would have.
She pulled out that switchblade and she was ready to go.
And she murked the other dude. Remember, she saved Bumpy from the other guy. Yeah, she would have. She would have.
I just think that was poor strategy on her part, though.
But it was the only strategy available, though. It was the only strategy. Unfortunately for Dude, it was his last.
Because you figure if we're talking about CIA and all these other government agencies, shoot, they might have had his phone tapped. I mean, who knows?
But if you are the Panthers and you keep supporting Elise in these missions that she keeps sending us on, and every time they ended in failure, eventually I'm gonna lose faith in your plans. And I'm like, yeah, we're not rolling with you on this one.
Right.
I think they were getting to see that it's bigger than they think. It's not local, and we all know that, as you said, Tiff, CIA, FBI, they all had probably some plan to take out Malcolm. So, hey, we know it's bigger than what Elise can muster. But I don't know. She wants Omar out of jail, and she saw a way. You can't fault her. And she said herself.
I don't fault her for trying to find out who the true killer is.
Well, she said, I know Omar better than I know you. So
yeah,
he sure did. I said, whoa, Sadiq. Yeah. I was like, well, that lets you know where you stand, sir.
That's what I'm saying. She put him on front. So I'm like, okay, so I guess he had nothing to do, but
he fell in line. Look, he was out there with the caper too.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, she has good intentions usually, but her plans never really fully come to fruition the way she thinks they are. So I don't know. At least I've warmed up her seat on the who can get the hands list. She's 2 weeks in a row. Now I want to talk about Miss Mayme. Mayme pulled some boss moves this week,
and I was waiting to hear what Ron was going to say about Mayme this week.
Look, okay. Yes, I have been hard on Mayme. She stood tall and beautiful. This episode. I love what she said to Bumpy when she started packing before she realized that Bumpy extended the loan. And she told him she would live in one of those boxes and she didn't need anything but Bumpy. And I'm like, okay, you got my vote now. We're good. We're good. This move that she made with Mr. Bolton was classic.
It was. She stood on business.
And when that little Truman, Mr. Truman
Capote,
Truman Garcia Capote. And that voice, I was saying that before we started, that if a gerbil could talk, it'd sound just like that.
He had an interesting voice.
Yes, and look, you all could not have picked
a better.
I was like, wow, they did a good job with the casting.
That was a master job, because this guy looked, they could be twins.
Dead on him, the voice, all of that.
Everything. And so they did a wonderful job. But, she's smart, though. And that's what I picked up. And she's quick, because when she realized that, Capote took an interest in her and he came over to talk, she instantly knew what she could do and what she couldn't do. So she stretched it. She said, "Hey, let's have more black artists. There will be cameras there." He bought into that
Yeah.
because he's one of those that like that lifestyle. When you look at a couple of his novels,
Yeah, he wrote a book about the crime.
Cold Blood, and and then the other one was
Breakfast at Tiffany.
Tiffany's. He a great novelist, yes. And I love the way he just instantly fell in love
with Mayme.
With Mayme, and she proved herself to be a queen.
Okay, so Mayme has redeemed herself in Ron's eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was she really. Even the ladies on the board had to give her a toast because they were like, "Don't get yourself kicked off this list because you."
Well, she wasn't even invited. First of all, first she secured herself the invite. Then she got some more black names on the list. Then it turns around. She asked to invite Baldwin. He shuts her down, and then she flips the script and makes them make peace.
Yes.
And it's photographed everywhere in the media.
And shook hands. I was like, Mayme is the ball. She probably get my game ball this week.
Yeah.
I would not be angry with that at all.
Now, the one thing I will say about Truman is he was pushing a little bit too hard on the Bumpy Johnson story.
Yeah, he was.
Now, I know that Bumpy is a gangster. Mayme played it cool. She was like, I'm not really involved in my husband's affairs and whatnot. But I was like, he was trying to get a next opportunity for another book.
Yeah, he was. Well, she told him, she said, Baldwin can stay. He said, I still want to meet Bumpy. And she was like, done. So clearly she's going to introduce them.
Well, I don't think Truman gonna get what he won out of Bumpy. He ain't getting
stories. I think she's gonna just make the introduction. And nothing else.
I think he wanted something after In Cold Blood, so he was looking for something else to do. And and talking to Bumpy, he knew he may have a good book plan there. So I don't blame him for that at all.
What do you really think a gangster gonna tell you about all his
exactly? He ain't gonna tell her nothing.
No, it wouldn't be autobiography of. But then again, I don't know.
He ain't gonna tell her nothing. He gonna be polite.
I'm thinking that and I guess that a lot would have to do with Mayme as well, which again, that's neither here nor there.
Incriminate himself. I mean, he involved with the 5 families and stuff like that.
No, but he could write it. I mean, he could tell it in such a way that it doesn't implicate him. He doesn't have to say I'm this and I've been that, but that's neither here nor there. I don't want to get into
I'm like, if you talking about it, you didn't already.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how you can talk about it without implicating himself.
Right. I mean, he can know about. Let's not go there because But but it was interesting. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed Truman and Baldwin. He and Baldwin, shaking hands and getting back together, arm in arm. As Mayme pointed out, you two, gay men, and in that time frame, in that era, be very courageous to step out like that.
Yeah.
So hey, all's well.
I love the show because I love the historic aspect. Like, Bumpy Johnson alone is historic, but then when you start bringing in Muhammad Ali and and James Baldwin and Truman Capote and all of these things, it makes it that much more interesting.
Yeah, it definitely does.
And they do it without a lot of sex scenes and things like that. They really sell. This is what I love about Godfather of Harlem. Not that I don't like sex and naked folks, but you don't have to see that every show. It doesn't have to lead in. In most shows, it's the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Yeah, they can do it without too much vulgarity and all that extra.
Here, they feed us a lot of, as you said, Tiffany, a lot of history. They give us something to chew on, and I love Godfather for that.
And they make it very, very captivating too. You be
they do.
All up in the screen, like what?
Yeah. It
got me yelling at my TV, messing around with Pettigrew.
Right. It's never. I know. I was just like, man, I wanted to yoke Pettigrew up myself. I was like, how dare you? I was offended for Bumpy.
Yeah, this episode was a wild one, so we gonna have to wait and see what happens. Next week is the final episode for this season, so we got to see which way things go. Hopefully, Pettigrew don't land himself in the grave right alongside Colombo, but we gonna have to see.
He landed himself on the hands list. I know that.
I was about to go straight there. I was gonna say, who can get the hands list? Pettigrew. Number one on the list.
Number one.
Right behind him is Colombo.
Yep, Colombo too. And that's bad if you out, you the first one on the list instead of Colombo after what Colombo has done.
And speaking of what Colombo has done, did y'all see how he turned the St. Clair into a whites only establishment?
Yes,
I was like,
I saw. Oh my
God! Was that Frank Sinatra he had up there singing "That's Life"?
It was supposed to be, yeah. And it was interesting too after Colombo went on this whole tirade about civil rights and this and that. And you didn't turn Bumpy's establishment and whitewashed it.
Well, he was talking about civil rights for them. Right. So it was never about unity for all us.
He said that he was trying to rally all of Harlem on his cause too. That's what he was trying to use to find common ground with the Harlem natives.
But smart move. When he thought about, oh yeah, you all got civil rights. Well, we could use a little civil rights on our end too.
No, Colombo getting the hands.
He's going down. Yeah, he get the hands.
No, I agree, but that was a smart move. Call it smart move.
Yeah, it's gonna be short lived.
Yeah,
it's gonna be short lived because he didn't earn his death too.
Yeah. Now, do we have any other nominees? We said Pettigrew, Colombo, Pino, definitely.
Oh, absolutely, Pino.
Yes. Pino for disrespecting Stella.
Yeah, Pino trying to get Stella out of there.
Exactly.
He want her gone.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that one. And of course, like I said, I'm adding Elise. I'm sorry, y'all. Elise getting
You can add her. I'm not.
For good measure, I'm gonna put Alice and the rest of the ladies on the board for trying to shut me down every.
Yeah, they pretty much, to me, when they were saying that, it sounded like they were telling her to stay in her place. Mayme, don't you do that. You might find yourself off the list and stuff. So I was like,
lucky to have been invited,
Yeah.
But I want to go back to Elise for a moment.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not saying what she done was right, but it was strategic. And
she thought it was strategic.
Well, I mean, there were some remnants of it working. Okay, now you're back to square one because dude is dead. But but it was strategic. She did what she had to do for her.
It made sense in her head at the moment.
I mean, you never know how a plan's going to work until it works. But but it was a good plan. Problem is, you didn't have Plan B.
Right, and like I said, I appreciate that her heart is in the right place, but her plans just keep landing people dead.
She's learning. She's learning the ropes. She's standing tall.
She got capers like Lucy, and I love Lucy.
Right.
She needs to call Bumpy or Chance or somebody and take some notes on how to do it right.
You could use a few lessons, but
little pointers here and there.
I agree.
All right, now for the game ball, I think we are all in agreement on this one. It's going to Mayme. Yeah, she did her thing this week. So
and Stella, I'm gonna give it to Stella too because she stepped up.
Stella. Oh yeah, Stella's doing her thing. She is. She's helping. She's trying to be a boss. She's learning.
Yeah, she's very loyal.
And she she put herself out on Front Street, being second to the family to initiate the plan to take out another family member. So, that could backfire on her as well. So
yeah, it can. Yeah, it can, because if Colombo find out her life is in danger, Pino already gunning for her spot, so she got to worry about him.
Yeah.
And if they do take Pino out, then the rest of her crew could ultimately be like, "We're not listening to you."
Right.
So it really, really could go negatively for her. So she's sticking her neck out on the line too.
Absolutely.
But I think she got a power play in mind as well. When you see her kind of staring off into the distance at them and just observing. She's super observant.
I think she's like me or him, because the way he moving, And Bumpy already put it in her head, like he moving like you not the boss. Like he won't trying to get you up out of there. And you know that they don't respect women, and it's a doggy dog world in that world and stuff.
Mhm.
So, and with her father being gone, it would be nothing for them to do something to her and then make up a story.
Right. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this finale got in store for us. I'm very, very excited to see how it all goes down, how it ends. The only problem with next week being the last episode of the season is that they don't have the next season ready yet.
Yeah.
Because I know they're going to leave us with something good to chew on. They always kind of leave us at a good place at the end of the season where we are anxious for what's coming next. So to all the viewers out there, we want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop down in the comment section and give us your thoughts about this episode, as well as any predictions that you have for the finale. Also, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click that notification bell. And we are also on all major social media platforms at The Spot Real Talk. So be sure to give us a follow wherever you are on social media. We are also recapping BMF. And we are doing The Chi. So don't forget about those recaps. If you are interested in those shows, check them out. We post those every week as well. Tiff, Ron, y'all got anything else to add?
Good.
Good.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to call it a night, and we'll be back here same time, same place next week for the big finale. We are so excited. So make sure you guys have the notification bell on so you are alerted when we post. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Yeah. Same shit, different day. If I'm getting paid, then you know I'm on the way. Pushing PCH, crib feeling like a cage. TVs in the whip and they playing Soul Train, yeah. Gold chain hanging from my chest. Rockin' bell bottoms, baby boy, I'm the best. Platform shoes got me feeling top deck. On the yacht, I'm a hot girl, show me some respect. Yeah, I'm a dawn and they know it. I'm giving you a shot, show up, don't blow it. If I'm in my zone, don't stop me flowing. Gotta give me a moment, I'm a star, let me show it.